what's your thoughts on the COVID vaccine, your history, your experience, and, where you are today as far as COVID vaccines go?
I never received the COVID vaccine. Like, I'm not really big on vaccines. I rely heavily on my own immunity. When the COVID vaccine came out, I do think in the beginning, when I was kind of scared about COVID, I did, think about getting it. But for me, it's too new of a vaccine for me to trust it yet. What about you, Kasheika? How do you feel about the COVID vaccine?
When COVID first came out, of course, it was a terrifying experience, right? Within the same year, they started saying, oh, we got this COVID vaccine. My head immediately, where it came from, who did it, why is it so fast? Why we can't figure out how to find a cure for cancer as fast as we could find a COVID vaccine? So I had so many questions. And at the same exact time, I was pregnant. And I was worried that if I was to go get this vaccination, how it would affect my son. But the thing is, why I was probably more so for it than against it is because we saw how COVID was just wiping people out. Mm-hmm. Like, it took people out in my family. So if they said that they had a solution, I figured that it was at least worth doing the research, asking the right questions. But I was always skeptical. So because of my skepticism, big word for me. Because of that, I decided to wait until after I had my son. But then I was still a little bit on the fence because I was nursing, right? So I was breastfeeding and questions of how is this going to go into my son and all that stuff. But I did end up getting it maybe like when my son turned about 3 or 4 months. And I was still breastfeeding and everything. But by that point, the vaccine probably had been out a little bit longer. Whoever was going to be harmed by it would have been harmed by then. So I felt a little bit more safe to go do it. And I think by the time I got my first vaccine, the first booster probably had came out. So I waited a little bit and then I got the boosters. Now I'm up to a point where, again, I wasn't working this job that I'm working at now, so it wasn't necessarily required. I just did it because, like I said, there was enough proof for me to feel comfortable enough to get it. Now I'm getting all of the booster shots because back to the requirement. My job is requiring us to get it and to show the proof that we have gotten it. But again, I don't feel like I'm being forced. I do feel like it's effective. My dad passed away from COVID. And I remember him saying constantly, like, if this disease catch me, it's going to take me out. And we used to just jokingly be like, what are you talking about? He caught COVID before vaccination came out. So he caught COVID in like April. And by the end of May, I don't even think 3-4 weeks, he wasn't here no more. So he didn't even get the opportunity to get it, right? Mm-hmm. So now the vaccine is here. I have another family member who chose not to get it. COVID has probably been around now for about 1.5 years, maybe a little bit longer. She caught COVID. She ended up passing away maybe about 6 weeks after that. Now, I can't say that if she had the vaccination, she would still be here. But what I do know is that she did not get the vaccination and she is not here. For me, because that's like a personal life story, is why when I choose to get the COVID vaccine, I don't feel like I'm being forced. Comparing it to the flu, though, I did catch COVID. I caught COVID about 3 times. I catch COVID every year around the same exact time. Wow. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas. If you ask my husband, he'll say that the vaccine probably minimized our symptoms. It could have been worse. I don't know. How am I supposed to know, right? Because it's not like I could remove it and go find out. Mm-hmm. But if the studies have shown, then okay.
I really feel for you when you say you lost your dad to COVID. I'm sorry to hear that. We lost my father-in-law to COVID. It was a time where you're like, maybe I should get this vaccine. And I have not had COVID to my knowledge. Maybe I'm asymptomatic. I don't know. I also have family members who have gotten the COVID shot, have gotten the boosters, and they've gotten COVID multiple times. So, yeah, just hearing the story, I'm like, so for me, it just didn't really, even going through and having my father-in-law pass away due to COVID, for me, it just didn't seem like a big enough reason for me to go out and get the COVID shot then. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like, on my own, I have not, knock on wood, to my knowledge, I have not had a COVID experience.
Right. You do definitely bring up a good point, like how effective really is it, whether you get it or not? It probably just comes down to the person. If you have a healthier immune system, why even need to get the vaccination shot, right? Instead of just trying to force it, maybe there should be some kind of research like, well, you are pretty good. You know, your blood work looks amazing. Maybe you don't need this, but they don't even do that. They go straight for everyone gets the vaccination shot because it can save your life, right? So now that COVID has been out for some odd years now, and the vaccine as well, do you think there are any pros to it?
Pros to getting the vaccine?
Yes. Or pros to the effectiveness of it?
I honestly don't think I can speak to the effectiveness of it. However, the first pro that comes to mind for me is peace of mind of knowing that, you took something to protect yourself.
Right. Yeah. That was well said. That was well said. I mean, yeah, that's the pros. I mean, like I said, for me, it's really difficult to talk about the effectiveness of it because it's not like you can remove it and then try again. You know, like once it's in, anything that happens after, I can say whatever I want, right? So I can say, yeah, it helped. I can say, no, it didn't help. There's no way for me to actually know. However, based on the 3 times that I have caught COVID, it's hard for me to phrase it because I feel like anything that I'm about to say right now, is it genuinely Kasheika saying it, or am I just repeating something that my husband said, which is what I'm about to say? Because if you ask, if I was to repeat something right now, my answer would simply be, it lessens the symptoms. That's one of the pros of it. And I loved your peace answer because that's exactly how I felt after I got it.
Okay.
Yep, I'm at peace. I did it. I got it. We're good.
And do you think there are any cons to the effectiveness of getting the vaccine?
I don't think there are any cons. I think that it's just another protective layer, and I don't think that it necessarily brings harm. I do feel like it brings more good than bad, mainly because of the peace of mind that you get. So I would say no, I can't necessarily think of anything else out. Now, if I was to probably dig deeper, search for conspiracies, and do all of that research, I probably could have a better answer for you. But because I did not, it's hard for me to just say like, yeah, you put the virus. Because I don't know. So I can't just say, because I wouldn't be speaking genuinely from my heart. What about you, Karen?
So I have done the research of the
I'm sure. I'm sure.
but outside of research, because I do really encourage everyone to do their own research on both sides of it. For me, the biggest con is because it's so new, you may not know these cons until 30 years down the line, 20 years down the line.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic. You are so right.